I wanted to share with you the message that I just sent to my representatives and my two senators. And it was to recognize that during the joint session speech a few nights ago, there was one Democrat that actually stood up and did what was necessary to disrupt the proceedings. One. Al Green, representative from Texas, stood up and ground the system to a halt, forcing Mike Johnson to remove him from the chambers. He risked censure for that. Now, after that happened, to declare, decorum, not a single Democrat from that point forward stood up and did the same thing. To me, that paints a picture of compliance. That paints a picture of, if you threaten the Democrats, they'll fall in line. That's the message that I saw as an American watching that. One Democrat, a man with a cane, he was the one with the bravery to risk censure. So what is censure, you might ask? And this is the frustrating part to me. There is no legal consequence to getting censured in Congress. What happens is you have to stand before Congress and take your lickings, basically. You have to stand there while your coworkers condemn you. They list out what you've done, and they publicly shame you. To be publicly shamed by the Republican Party at this point is to be lauded for bravery, because you were standing up for your own constituents. Al Green stood up and disrupted that process to remind America that this president does not have a mandate to destroy Medicaid, to eradicate the medical care for poor people. He does not have that authority, and we won't let him do it. One Democrat stood up and disrupted that process to make it known. So I called my representative and my senators that I need to see more action like that. What should have happened from that point forward to demonstrate the unity that the Democratic Party has is when Al Green got kicked out and Trump began to speak again, about 10 seconds into that speech, another Democrat should have stood up and shouted down until they too were kicked out. They too can be censured. Then when Trump would speak again, another Democrat would stand up and disrupt the proceedings. You do this for as long as it takes until there is not a single Democrat left in that chamber. If Trump wants to be surrounded in his lone little echo chamber, make him work for it. Don't sit there in silence and let it happen with cute little placards and pink suits. You cannot sit idly by, passively, expecting this Republican Party and the president to somehow come to recognize what it is that they're doing and change their ways. This is not normal. And this democratic reliance on, if we just respect the process, if we just play the part in the tea ceremony, the American people will just see it for what it is. No. Do what Trump does best, which is gain attention. Get in front of a camera. Do whatever it takes to disrupt this process, to stand in front of a camera and explain to the American people why you're taking this kind of risk. Because this is ultimately, getting censured, like I've said, is no risk at all. Nothing. Getting condemned, getting shamed by a Republican in this modern era is a joke. It should be taken as a badge of honor, because you're standing up for what is a fascistic takeover from inside the government. So what I hope to see are more Democrats and more Republicans standing up. And I mean this literally. I mean getting themselves in front of a camera and condemning the president and interrupting the process. There is no excuse at this point to think that if we just sit back quietly, somehow this is all going to go back to normal. It won't. And any Democrat who talks about the dangers of an authoritarian takeover and then still has the gall to sit there in silence and do nothing, they're part of the problem. I want to see more action. I want to see more bravery. I want to see more spine from everyone in Congress. I need to know that they actually care about the future of this country and the people that live in it.